Hello, beautiful. How are you today? I am so excited to be here. So thank you so much for liking, subscribing, hitting that notification bell, and for all the beautiful comments you leave in the comment section. They mean the world to me. And today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on this look. I'm breaking it up into two parts. So today is day one, and I'm going to speed through some stuff. And if you would like to see a slowed down version, like everything kind of broken up, then let me know in the comment section. I love hearing from you. And yeah, let's not chat anymore. Let's just get going. All right, ladies, let's jump right in. I am going to start off with my moisturization process, and this I'm using the GlamGlow Volcasmic. If you are someone who has dry skin, you obviously know that you have to moisturize. Of course, if you have combination skin, you also have to moisturize, but I think a misconception is that you don't have to moisturize if you have oily skin. Now, what actually happens when you do moisturize, the moisture on your skin, your brain is actually smart enough to figure out that you have moisture there, and it will stop the sebum creating process. So find something that suits your skin, and like right now I am using a cream. Really, it is very moisturizing. It is what is best for my skin because I do have the very dry skin. Perhaps more of a lotion is more up your alley, or serums or oils. I cannot use oils. They are not good for my skin. I break out. They create problems with my pores, and it's a bad situation all the way around. So I have moisturized absolutely everywhere. Now I'm going to wait for about 10 minutes and come back and get on with the makeup application process. All right, my next step would be to put a primer on. Now, what the primer does is it provides a beautiful base for your foundation for the rest of your makeup, and it helps to fill in fine lines and make your pores appear a lot smaller, and sometimes completely blur them out. So primers, for those of you who can use it, oh my goodness, please do. And put it on your problem areas, usually around the nose and kind of in the little crease lines here, sometimes on the chin, over top of the eyebrows, all those areas. And it will just help your makeup last throughout the day and give it just really a good base. I unfortunately cannot do that. I break out every single primer that I've ever used, so I stopped trying. I know the benefits, but I also know what is good for my skin, and that's what I stick with. All right, so my next step is going to be to put concealer onto my eyes, just because I want to provide a good base for my eyeshadow. Now, if you have oily skin, a good idea would be to use an actual eyeshadow primer. And there are a couple of companies that put out good ones like Urban Decay, but you do not have to use that. And of course, the Shape Tape concealer is something that many women swear by. So I'm just going to go ahead and place this right onto my eye. And I usually only put enough, about halfway. And this will help to cover redness and veins and all of that, as well as provide a really good base for my eyeshadow. All right, now I have those completely primed and ready to go. And you can choose to do a couple of things. You can either use a translucent setting powder, and that will, usually they are very finely milled so that it presses right into the skin and basically just disappears, but provides a really good base for your eyeshadow. The other thing that you can do is, if you're not wanting to spend a whole lot of money, you can just use a regular eyeshadow palette. And I have the Morphe 35 OM, and this is just full of matte eyeshadows. It is very popular and a really good one if you have an Ulta, or I think Sephora has started selling Morphe, so you might be able to pick this up at Sephora. And then of course there's Morphe online, and both the American and Canadian sites. All right, what I'm going to do, these are not numbered, they don't have names for any of them, so I'm just going to show you which color I'm going to use. Okay, so this is the layout of the palette, and so I'm just going to take one of my Sigma brushes. This is an E40, and it's got that that dark head on the top, and I'm just going to dip it right into the tip of, swirl it around a little bit and into that second color there, and go ahead and place this all over my eye. All right, so that is complete. Now I'm going to take a MAC 217. I love this. It's a synthetic head on there. And I am just going to go into the second row, the third over, and get some of that on the very tip of my brush. So I'm not sure if you can see that. Let's just see if I can. It's on the very tip there, okay? And I'm just gonna go above my crease. I'm gonna pretty much take my brush and go right directly at my, my eye, and start to gently just go along the brow bone, like underneath the brow bone around the crease, and fill that area in using windshield wiper motions as well as little tiny circular motions, and bringing it not quite into the very inner corner and keeping it up above my crease, but going back and forth right out to the very outside of my eye. And I'm keeping it lower than my brow bone. All right, next I'm taking a MAC 213, and this has got a really soft but very densely packed brush head, and I am going to go into my dark color. And let's see, probably, let's keep it simple. So let's go into this color right here. And it's kind of a reddish brown. Again, I'm actually gonna place it more on the side of the brush instead of the tip. And I'm gonna take that right over to the outside and start to kind of just press it. There's gonna be a little tiny bit of fallout perhaps, but I'm just pressing it, and then I'll pull my eye up because I am over 40 and I do have a little bit of, you know, sagginess in my skin no matter how much moisturization I keep there. And remember, you can continue to add until you're happy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my 217, MAC 217, and just blend those two colors in together right where that line is, so that there isn't a harsh line, and it just blends beautifully in together. And that is why we put that translucent setting powder over top of the primer or concealer, or that eyeshadow color that really closely matches our skin. All right, so I like that. I'm gonna go over to the other eye now and do exactly the same. All right, I'm going to keep this super simple and stay within this palette. My next brush that I'm using, I can no longer even see the name of it anymore, but it is a flat synthetic brush, and it's by MAC. I love it. I've had it for many years, obviously, because the number has worn off. Yeah, I really can't even see that, but you have a couple of options. You can take some setting spray and spray the tip of this brush, and that will give you a better application of your inner corner color. But I'm just going to keep it simple for you today, and I am going to go into that. Okay, we use this as a base, so I am going to go into this color right next to it. It is still on the lighter side, and I'm taking that on that flat part right there and just really pressing it into my inner corner. With me, because I have very tiny eyes, I'm actually bringing that lighter shade up. So up, 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 and not quite all the way over to that really dark color that I have on the outer corner. All right, then I'm going to take a Sigma E35, E25, pardon me, and again, that is synthetic brush head on there, and go into kind of a color that's in between the dark color and the light color. So let's go with this one right here. It is kind of in between the two colors. So it's kind of green, brown, gray, I don't know. But again, just on the tip there. And I am going to blend those two colors together so that it creates like an ombre effect and the lines are blurred. And I am just so very, very, very lightly touching my eye. So you should really not be able to see where that light color starts and ends and the dark color. All right, now eyeliner. I am going to again keep it really easy, and I'm going into the L'Oreal Color Riche Le Kajal, and this tip on there is really sharp, and that is important, especially when we are doing our eyeliner. And it's a brown, and I'm just gonna run it along the base of my eye, right where my eyelashes start. And I'm pulling the outer part of my eye, obviously, to keep it taut, as I'm not 21 any longer. And then of course I'm gonna take the same pencil and go into the waterline and just run that right along the entire waterline. This will just give that extra little bit of definition. And with that brown color, it keeps it soft, more on the feminine side, which I prefer. Okay, now I've got my Tweezerman rose gold eyelash curlers. This is something that I rarely do, but you can, and I'd like to show you how right now. So basically, I take it and I press it up right against my eye, and then that will give me good connection right at the base of my eyelashes, and just start to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've moved that at the base, kind of the middle, and then the tip, and that will give a really nice curl to your lashes if you need that. A really good little tip is to keep this in a warm glass or cup of water so that it works just like a curling iron, and just make sure that it isn't so hot that it scalds your face, because we don't need that, you know what I mean? All right, now I'm gonna go into my Bigger, Better, Blacker by Urban Decay. It is black. We've seen me use this before, and of course I do wiggle, wiggle, pull, wiggle, wiggle, pull, wiggle, wiggle, pull, and then flick that all along my eyelashes at the very tips so that it gives that extra volume and extra length. All right, my next step is to make sure that I don't have any fallout or anything right underneath my eye, because we're doing that section next. And so I'm just taking one of my Neutrogena wipes and going on underneath my eye. All right, and then I'm taking my Smashbox under eye primer just to make sure that my under eyes are hydrated. I've just used that cloth and removed a little bit of the cream that I had put there earlier, so I'm going to massage this in. Now, I have worked as a masseuse and I am a believer in massaging. It brings blood to the area, it stimulates blood flow, and blood flow just brings oxygen, it helps to heal and try to remove some of the darker circles and whatnot. So that's why I like to actually get, I'm not applying a whole lot of pressure, but I'm definitely moving that area of my under eye, and I'm using my ring finger on both hands because that is your weakest finger. Then of course going back in with the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer, just dotting a couple of dots along there underneath, and then using my mini beauty blender. This one is the Eco Tools that came in that package of 3. I did a review on that a few months ago. All right, now I want to set this again. So I'm just doing exactly what I did before with my, my eyelid on top. And this again is the Sigma E40. I've got a little bit of that second eyeshadow in on the palette, and I'm just stippling it into my under eye so that it gives it a good base for the eyeshadow that I'm going to be putting down there, but doesn't make it look cakey. And this very closely resembles the color of my skin, keeping it nice and bright. All right, now I have a little smudge brush from Quo, a company up here in Canada, I do believe. And I love these little smudge brushes. I am going to go into that dark color that I used earlier, this deep brown, kind of orangey, rusty brown color, and just on the very tip, again, I think you might probably might not be able to see that, but tap off the excess, of course, and then go right underneath the eyelash, the lower lash area, and bring that along, connecting it with the upper eye area so that it is an extension of that color. All right, now to blow out that bottom lash, I'm going to go back into this kind of a green color over here that I used to make the upper eye cohesive, and I'm just going to run that along and kind of blow out that lower eye area so that it doesn't look so harsh. All right, I am happy with where we are at the moment. So I'm going to close off the video for now, and I will be back with the rest of my face next week. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day, whatever day of the week you are watching this. I love every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next upload.